Yo, what's good, everybody? Welcome back to the channel where we break down the wildest, most jaw-dropping moments in basketball. If you're new here, hit that subscribe button, smash the like, and turn on notifications so you don't miss a single video. Today, we're diving headfirst into the absolute train wreck that is the Chicago Sky's 2025 WNBA season. I'm talking about a team so bad, they're not just losing games, they're rewriting the definition of embarrassment. Buckle up, because this is going to be a wild ride. Let's get into it. Let's set the stage. The Chicago Sky are not just struggling, they're stuck in a basketball apocalypse. With a pathetic 3-9 record to start the season, they're not just at the bottom of the WNBA standings, they're digging a hole to the center of the earth. This isn't a rough patch. This isn't a slump. This is one of the worst starts in WNBA history, and their game against the Phoenix Mercury was the kind of performance that makes you question why they're even on national TV. Picture this. The Sky walk into Phoenix already limping, having dropped 5 of their last 6 games. Their offense is a mess, their defense is non-existent, and their turnover average, 18.9 per game, is the worst in the league. That's not just sloppy basketball. That's like trying to play chess with a blindfold and oven mitts. They're not just out of sync, they've lost the entire playbook. And then, in front of a national audience, they didn't just lose to the Mercury. They surrendered. This wasn't a basketball game, it was a public execution. Phoenix didn't just beat them, they put on a clinic, dropping 100 points for the first time this season, while the Sky flopped around like fish out of water. By the end, Chicago had coughed up 21 turnovers and scored a measly 86 points. It was less a competition and more a masterclass in how not to play professional basketball. Now let's talk about the moment that will live in WNBA infamy. Coach Tyler Marsh waving the white flag. In the third quarter, with Phoenix leading by 25 points, Marsh did something no coach wants to do. He benched his entire starting lineup, not because of foul trouble, not to rest them for a comeback. He pulled stars like Reese and Camila Cardoso to save them from further humiliation. This wasn't strategy. This was survival mode. Imagine you're at a boxing match, and one fighter just throws in the towel mid-round because their opponent is landing haymakers. That's what Marsh did. He looked at the scoreboard, saw Phoenix's 11-3 run to open the third, and said, "Nah, I'm good." He yanked his starters like he was fleeing a burning building, leaving the bench players to mop up the mess. It was the basketball equivalent of calling your mom to pick you up from summer camp because the vibes were off. In the post-game presser, Marsh tried to spin it as protecting players during a back-to-back schedule. But let's be real. His eyes told a different story. That was the face of a man questioning every life choice that led him to this moment. Hired as the franchise savior after back-to-back titles with the Las Vegas Aces, Marsh now looks like he's trapped in a basketball-themed horror movie. His decision to bench the starters wasn't a coaching adjustment. It was a public resignation. He didn't just quit on the game, he quit on the idea that the Sky could even compete that night. At the center of this catastrophe is Reese, the Sky's supposed superstar. Let's talk about her performance against Phoenix. Because it was a disaster of biblical proportions, Reese finished with what I'm calling a triple single. 9 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists, and a team-leading -25 WOUT plus-minus. She took 1 shot the entire game. 1. Her teammates were so done with her, they practically refused to pass her the ball. That's not a stat line. That's a cry for help. Reese's season has been a masterclass in underperforming. She's averaging just 9.1 points per game on a brutal 30.9% shooting from the field. For context, she's missing layups at point-blank range, hitting just 28% of shots within 3 feet. You'd have better odds throwing the ball blindfolded and hoping it finds the rim. Against Phoenix, she grabbed 2 rebounds. This from a player hyped as a rebounding machine in college. Opponents half her size were dominating the glass while she wandered around like she forgot where the basket was. And yet, in the post-game press conference, Reese stepped up to the mic and delivered a TED Talk on poise and process. She talked about hustle, intensity, and staying grounded, as if her team didn't just get blown out by 21 points. She called it a character-building moment. Character building? Girl, this was a character demolition moment. Her confidence is admirable, but when you're shooting 3% from the field and missing layups like it's your day job, that's not confidence, that's delusion with a side of stat padding. Reese's defenders might point to her college days where her athleticism and rebounding carried LSU to a national title. But the WNBA is a different beast. Everyone here is fast, strong, and skilled, and Reese hasn't adjusted. Her game is stuck in 2023. Trying to post up in a league that's moved on to spacing the floor and shooting threes. She's out here dribbling into traffic like it's a hobby, while her teammates, like Camila Cardoso, are left shaking their heads on the bench. Speaking of Cardoso, let's give her a shout-out. She was the one bright spot against Phoenix, dropping 17 points on an efficient 7 of 9 shooting. That's how a big is supposed to play. But her performance got buried under the Sky's flaming wreckage. You could see the frustration in her body language, like she's trapped in a basketball nightmare, glancing at the bench like, "Get me out of here!" Cardoso deserves better, but instead, she's stuck watching Reese's chaotic solo act during broken plays. Don't get it twisted. Angel Reese isn't the only problem. The Sky's issues are systemic, from top to bottom. This roster was built like someone picked names out of a hat and expected playoff magic. Let's break it down. Turnovers galore. The Sky are averaging 18. 9 turnovers per game, the worst in the WNBA. Elite teams hover around 13 to 14 turnovers. Chicago's handing out 5 or 6 extra possessions like they're running a charity drive. Against Phoenix, they gifted 13 points off 8 turnovers in the first quarter alone. That's not a game plan, that's sabotage. Defensive disaster. The Sky's defensive rating is a league-worst 113.6, allowing nearly 95 points per game. They haven't held a single opponent under 90 points this season. Opponents are shooting 1% from 3, turning every game into an open gym shooting spree. The Sky's perimeter defense is so bad, teams are going crazy from beyond the arc like it's a 3-point contest. No offensive spark. Outside of Camila Cardoso and maybe Kennedy Carter's occasional 18-point outbursts, the Sky have no one who can take over a game. They're averaging just 52 points in some games, their lowest output since 2011. This isn't a team. It's a group of players passing the ball around hoping someone else figures it out. The Sky's season started with a 0-4 record, tying the worst opening in franchise history. They've been blown out by 60 points combined in their first 2 games, another WNBA record for futility. Against Indiana, they scored just 52 points, their lowest since 2011. This isn't a losing streak, it's a televised implosion. Let's give credit where it's due. The Phoenix Mercury were on fire. They smelled blood in the water early and didn't let up. They stormed out to a 31-8 first-quarter lead, shooting 5% from the field and a scorching 57.1% from 3. Sammy Whitcomb turned into a human flamethrower, sinking 5 threes in the second quarter like she was playing at a carnival booth. By the end, Phoenix had their first 100-point game of the season, while the Sky were left picking up the pieces of their shattered pride. This game was a tale of 2 teams, one playing like their lives depended on it, the other looking like they forgot how to play basketball. Phoenix had a blueprint: shoot efficiently, move the ball, and exploit Chicago's non-existent defense. The Sky? They couldn't find the matches to start a fire, let alone play with one. Here's the million-dollar question. Why is the WNBA putting the Chicago Sky on national TV? This team is an embarrassment, a walking highlight reel for all the wrong reasons. Compare them to the Indiana Fever, who even on a bad day are must-watch TV. Caitlin Clark and company are out there grinding, taking hits, and dropping logo threes. The Fever have a product worth watching, win or lose. The Sky? They're getting worked by 30 points at home and calling it character building. The WNBA schedulers messed up big time with this one. Putting the Sky on national TV is like airing a live feed of a car crash. You can't look away, but you're not exactly having fun. If you're going to showcase a team, at least pick one that can keep the score within 20 points. Let's circle back to Angel Reese, because her post-game comments deserve their own segment. After getting benched and putting up a triple single, she stepped to the mic and tried to spin this disaster into inspiration. She talked about not complaining, working hard, and trusting her teammates. She said, "I know my teammates trust me. I know they have my back." That's cute, but your teammates didn't pass you the ball, Angel. You took one shot because they were done with you. Reese also flexed her Bet Sportswoman of the Year nomination, as if that erases her 0 for 8 performance against the Liberty, or her 31.3% shooting from the field. She's averaging 1 points per game, but somehow thinks she's on the verge of a breakout. That's not optimism. That's living in an alternate reality. Her post-game interviews are less about analysis and more like performance art, saying all the right things while her stats scream, "Help!" And let's talk about her rebounding, or lack thereof. Reese built her college reputation on dominating the glass, but in the pros, she's getting out-rebounded by guards. Against Phoenix, she had 2 rebounds. 2! Her defenders might argue she didn't get enough shots to pad her stats with offensive boards, but that's the point. When you're not taking hella shots and missing layups, you can't inflate your rebound numbers. The truth is, Reese has been exposed as a one-dimensional player who hasn't adapted to the WNBA's speed and skill. Tyler Marsh came to Chicago with a sparkling resume, back-to-back titles with the Las Vegas Aces, a reputation as a player developer, and a mandate to turn the Sky into contenders. Instead, he's stuck playing spokesperson for dysfunction. His post-game pressers are like watching a man trapped in a basketball-themed Groundhog Day. He keeps talking about fixing turnovers and finding rhythm, but it's just coach speak for, I have no idea how to fix this. His decision to bench the starters against Phoenix will go down as his defining moment, not as a tactical genius, but as a coach who gave up. Down by 25 in the third quarter, he didn't call a timeout or rally his team. He hit the eject button, pulling Reese and Cardoso like he was bailing out of a crashing helicopter. He later called it protecting players, but we all saw the look in his eyes. Resignation, not strategy. Marsh isn't coaching. He's managing a crisis with a clipboard. The sad part? Marsh was supposed to be the guy to develop Angel Reese, unleash Camila Cardoso, and build a contender. Instead, he's overseeing a masterclass in basketball futility. Somewhere in the Chicago suburbs, he's probably Googling career change ideas while wondering how it all went so wrong. Let's be real, the Chicago Sky are not just losing, they're unraveling. This roster has no untouchable talent, no spark plug, no identity. Kennedy Carter's 18-point outbursts are a rare bright spot, but even she can't save this sinking ship. Camila Cardoso is playing well, but her frustration is palpable. She's stuck in a basketball purgatory watching her teammates fumble possessions like they're playing hot potato. The Sky's front office misjudged everything. They banked on Reese's college hype and forgot that the pros require actual production. They built a roster with no shooters, no defenders, and no chemistry. Courtney Vandersloot's ACL injury was a blow, but great teams adjust. The Sky, on the other hand, find new ways to make bad situations worse. So what's next? I don't see this getting better anytime soon. Tyler Marsh might be the first to go, but the players aren't blameless. Angel Reese, the supposed leader, has been exposed as a work in progress at best, a liability at worst. The Sky need a fire sale. Nobody on this roster is safe. They need shooters, defenders, and a new game plan. Right now, they're the laughingstock of the WNBA, and unless something changes fast, they'll be remembered as the team that turned losing into an art form. The Chicago Sky's 2025 season is equal parts sports tragedy and must-watch television. They're not just the worst team in the WNBA. They're a cautionary tale about what happens when hype collides with reality, and reality wins by 30 points. Angel Reese's triple singles, Tyler Marsh's white flag, and the Sky's endless turnovers are the stuff of basketball nightmares. Yet somehow it's impossible to look away. If you think Angel Reese is the worst player in the WNBA, drop Baby Giraffe in the comments below. Let's get this conversation going. Make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a video. Share this with your friends because the Sky's meltdown is too wild to keep to yourself. Until next time, this is the DX Hoops, signing off. Peace.